Hello, my name is Lachlan and welcome to BricksNShticks. Today I'll be taking a look at set 75395, the LEGO Star Wars Advent Calendar 2024. Now you're probably wondering, why on earth would I release this video not only after Christmas, but into the new year? Well, this set is still available in places like Kmart and Target here in Australia, where you can get it for a very nice discounted price. When this 368-piece set released on the 1st of September 2024, it retailed for a very painful price of 60 Australian dollars, or a much less painful price of 45 Freedom Eagles. Regardless of where in the world you're from though, that's a lot to pay for a set rated for ages 6 and up. The front of the box looks very similar to those of years past, displaying most of the included minifigures along with a few of the micro builds that will be included in this set. We also see that festive wrapping there in the top right that LEGO's been printing on these things for the last few years. And a little something unique for this year's advent calendar, it's a 25 years of LEGO Star Wars set. Since 2024 was the 25th year of LEGO Star Wars, LEGO decided to do something very special with this advent calendar, where each day reflects a set from every year between 1999 to 2024, for the most part. The festive ribbon continues to the top of the box where, if we follow it around, we get this set's 1:1 scaled figure, Princess Leia. Here on the back of the box, things are as you would expect. A few more builds are revealed, along with some of the figures we've already seen. This is also a bit of a boxception, considering that here on the back of the box, we see this same box open. Talking about open boxes, let's get this one open. With the two tape tabs cut and the scene set, it's time to start the advent. Now, if you've never used a LEGO advent calendar before, it's pretty straightforward. Find day 1, push in the thumb tab, and pull out. Inside there will be a small bag with the parts needed, and on the back side of the panel, we find the instructions. And as we can see, day 1 is an X-Wing. This X-Wing calls back to the 1999 set 7140, X-Wing Fighter, where the colors were of the era. LEGO includes a stud here to very respectfully honor R2-D2. Following this, and spoiler alert if for some reason you still haven't built this, but still want the days to be a surprise. Because day 2 is Princess Leia in a Christmas sweater. This figure has dual-sided face printing, as well as printing on both the front and the back of the torso. This figure is used to recall the 2000 set 7190 Millennium Falcon, commemorating the first appearance of a LEGO Princess Leia. After that, on day 3, LEGO reminisces about their 2000s TIE Fighter set 7146, with this obviously much smaller model. Like the X-Wing on day 1, this model shows the era of the original set quite well. Day 4, we get a Super Battle Droid, which got freshly updated within the same year as this advent calendar. This day is a reference to the first iteration of the Super Battle Droid, first seen in the 2002 set 7163 Republic Gunship. Day 5, an AT-AT. As you can probably already guess, recall set 4483 being the first AT-AT released in 2003. Both the legs and head can move on this model, allowing you to position it in some very questionable poses. Funnily enough, day 6 is very similar, with a Y-Wing to recall the first Y-Wing set 10134, released in, you guessed it, 2004. LEGO included a Pearl Silver piece to, like the X-Wing on day 1, mimic an astromech droid. This next one is a bit of a special one. Day 7 brings us to our first ever official mini-kit. For years, mini-kits have been exclusively mocks or locked within the digital world, which of course is what the build is referencing, with the release of LEGO Star Wars the video game from all the way back in 2005. Which, may I add, turns 20 years old this year. Next up on day 8 is Jabba's Sail Barge, sailing back to remind us of the 2006 set 6210 Jabba's Sail Barge, obviously. And day 9 brings us a micro version of, at the time, the largest set LEGO had ever made, referencing set 10179, the Ultimate Collector's Millennium Falcon. After that shrunken behemoth, day 10 gives us our third character in the form of Ahsoka Tano, calling back to 2008 when Ahsoka was first seen in LEGO. This minifigure has nice printing on both the front and the back of her torso, plus dual-sided face printing and excellent detail on her Laku. Towards the end of this video, I will mention a few extra things about some of the builds, including this Ahsoka minifigure, so just stick around for a little longer. Until then, day 11 gives us a cute recreation of the 2009 set 8039 Venator-class Republic attack cruiser. That's a mouthful. And day 12 provides a similar story with its recreation of the 2010 set 8096 Emperor Palpatine's shuttle. The wings on this do move, so if you're giving this to, or more likely have given this to a child, don't worry, there is plenty of things in here for them to play with. Days 13 and 14 give us a T6 Jedi shuttle and a Mandalorian gauntlet to respectively recall 2011's 7931 T6 Jedi shuttle and 2012's 9525 Pre-Vizslá's Mandalorian fighter. Next, on day 15, we find ourselves the next minifigure, being the 2024 update of the 501st Clone Trooper to call back the first appearance of these guys back in 2013. He's got all the great printing of 501st Troopers in recent years, plus a hole on either side of his helmet. Following that on day 16 is the Ghost, which obviously references the Ghost from 2014, 75053. Then on day 17 comes our second last minifigure of the set, Luke Skywalker in a Christmas sweater. Like Leia, he is printing on both front and back of the torso, plus dual-sided face printing. This is the only minifigure to be specifically based off a set, being 2015's 75110, which I don't want to talk about this one anymore. After that blast from the past, we get two more micro builds. For day 18 and 19, we get a U-Wing and Yoda's Jedi Starfighter. To recall, that's right, 2016's 75155, Rebel U-Wing, and 2017's 75168, Yoda's Jedi Starfighter. The latter, like the X-Wing on day 1, includes a stud to respectfully reference R2-D2. Now for our final figure of the set. Day 20 brings us a Praetorian Guard. This one's a bit of an odd one. The minifigure itself first appeared in 2018, though within the buildable figures line, a Praetorian Guard was released the year prior, in 2017. Under the helmet, there's no printing, just a red head, but the torso and legs both have printing. Anyway, recalling 2019 and 2020 respectively, on days 21 and 22 are a micro Darth Vader's castle and a micro Razor Crest, referencing, if you haven't caught on with the pattern yet, that's okay because I'm gonna tell you anyways, 75251, Darth Vader's castle, and 75292, the Razor Crest. LEGO decided that 2021 and 2023 were both pretty irrelevant years for their Star Wars line, since neither have a model, but the year in between both most certainly does. For day 23, and representing 2022, we have a reference to set 75341, Luke Skywalker's Landspeeder. LEGO even included micro versions of Luke and C-3PO, the two figures that were included within that set. Finally, on the last day of this advent calendar, day 24, LEGO gives us a Crimson Firehawk? Yeah. For our final day, LEGO reflects on a Disney Plus show that they made two very pricey 4+ sets on. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. LEGO produced their own really good Star Wars show for that year, and only released two sets based off of it. Personally, I would have really liked to have seen this panel be a callback to Rebuild the Galaxy in some way, but alas. 2 pages of script later, and we have finally made our way over every figure and every build included within this advent calendar. But I'm still not done. I have some bones to pick and some praises to give for some of the inclusions within this set. Starting with, in my personal opinion, the worst build from this advent calendar. We have the Mandalorian Gauntlet. It's just way too blocky, and when compared to the source material, it really feels like LEGO was stretching it with this one. The T6 I also feel unfortunately suffers from a very similar problem, where it's just off. And the Ahsoka minifigure fits in really nicely next to it purely because it's a reuse. I feel like if it wasn't the exact same one that was included in the 2024's T6, or if I just didn't already have that set, I would have appreciated this figure much more. The 501st Trooper would have been much higher than 5th last in my ranking if it weren't for the helmet holes. I'm not too fussed over them. It's just disappointing that 4 years prior, LEGO had this minifigure done so damn well, and now it's just that little bit worse. And there's the surprisingly well-designed Firehawk, which I've already talked about. If this wasn't a commemorative advent calendar, I would have ranked it much higher. Now for some of the builds, notable in a positive way. The build for Yoda's Jedi Starfighter certainly isn't the best thing we've ever gotten, but the fact that it has that stud on top for R2, and behind the windscreen a lime green bracket to represent Yoda, LEGO did this build justice. And in a very similar vein, Luke's Landspeeder was done really well. Not only in the build itself, but as I've previously mentioned, the two studded builds for Luke and C-3PO are just so good. Now for my top 3 inclusions within this calendar, we've got Luke and Leia tied for third since the level of detail is pretty much on par for both. The Ghost comes in second, though it is quite skinny when compared to the in-universe reference. LEGO still did quite a good job on the ship, and I may have a little bit of a bias towards it. But my favourite inclusion of this set is undoubtedly the mini kit. Out of everything that was included, this build was certainly the most accurate to its source material. And with that, I feel like I've sufficiently covered everything I need to in regards to the 2024 LEGO Star Wars Advent Calendar. There is definitely more I could say about each thing that was included in the set, so if I get time, I might do a little bonus video somewhere down the line. But we'll see how that goes. And until then, have a great year, stay safe, and talk soon.